You wake up every day thinking you're in control, that your choices, your thoughts, your desires are your own. But what if the real decisions are made long before your conscious mind even wakes up? There's a hidden system operating beneath the surface of your awareness, a silent architect shaping every habit, every belief, every fear. You didn't design it, but it's been designing you. From childhood, your subconscious mind has been programmed, not just by your family, but by television, language, symbols, school bells, body language, tones of voice. You learned what to fear, what to want, what to become, and you accepted it, without question, because your brain was wide open. Suggestible, plastic. Even now you think you're making a decision, but 95% of your behavior is driven by programs written years ago. And that means, if you don't understand the code that's running you, someone else will. Not by force, but by precision. And that's exactly what's been happening. From the moment you were born, you were a receiver, no filter, no firewall. Every look, every word, every punishment and praise became part of the code. By age 7, your brain was in a theta-dominant state, the same state hypnotists use to access your subconscious. That means you were in a trance, a walking sponge for belief systems, and society knew it. Education systems weren't built to expand your consciousness. They were designed to normalize obedience, standardize thought, and suppress curiosity. You weren't taught how to think. You were taught what to think. They gave you heroes and villains, rewards and punishments, labels like smart and difficult. And slowly, the real you was overwritten. Now, you carry those early programs into adulthood. You work hard, yet sabotage your success. You crave love, yet push people away. You seek freedom, yet fear change. And none of it feels like programming. It feels like personality. But it isn't. It's just an echo. So here's the question they never want you to ask. If you didn't choose the code, who did? And more importantly, can you rewrite it? You were programmed with precision, not just by people, but by systems. The school bell didn't just tell you it was time for class. It trained you to obey sound. The red pen didn't just correct mistakes. It taught you that error equals shame. Cartoons with exaggerated emotions, songs with repetition and rhyme, stories with good versus evil, all crafted to install emotional responses. Every repetition carved deeper neural pathways. Every symbol bypassed logic and reached straight into your subconscious. Why do you think corporations spend billions on logos, jingles, colors? Because they're not trying to convince your conscious mind. They're programming your nervous system. You see an image and feel desire. You hear a tone and feel guilt. You open an app and feel unworthy. And yet you never question where those feelings come from, because the program taught you to trust your feelings. It's not about control in the obvious sense. It's about alignment. If your subconscious can be nudged, subtly, repeatedly, it will begin to crave what they want, fear what they fear, and avoid the truth without knowing why. And the most dangerous part? You'll think all those thoughts are yours. You think success is just hard work, but if the program says you're not worthy, you'll unconsciously sabotage every opportunity. You'll procrastinate. You'll pick the wrong partner. You'll waste time proving your value to people who never asked, and you'll call it bad luck or fate. But it's not fate. It's fidelity to the code. The subconscious mind is loyal, brutally loyal, to what it believes is safe, even if that safe is toxic. If you were taught that love equals abandonment, you'll chase people who leave. If you were taught that money equals guilt, you'll spend it as fast as it comes. If you were taught that truth equals danger, you'll silence your voice to stay invisible. That's the trap. You live inside a mental cage so invisible. You decorate it, you defend it, you teach it to your children. And the walls were built with beliefs so old, you mistake them for identity. This is why affirmations often fail, because they speak to the conscious mind, while the subconscious runs the show. And unless both are aligned, you'll always feel like two people living one life. So how do you break free? Not by force, but by reprogramming the signal. The subconscious doesn't respond to logic. It responds to repetition, to symbolism, to emotion. It's not a file you edit, it's a frequency you embody. That's why trauma installs faster than wisdom, because emotion is the pen, intensity is the ink. So how do you rewrite the program? First, you must become conscious of the unconscious. Watch your reactions, observe your patterns, not to judge them, but to trace them back to their source. Notice the moment you shrink when praised, the subtle guilt after resting, the anxiety when things feel too good. These are breadcrumbs, leading back to the original installation. Then comes the shift. You start feeding your subconscious new signals, not once, not occasionally, daily, relentlessly, through visualization soaked in emotion, through language that matches the identity you're becoming, through stillness where you break the loop of reaction. This isn't quick, and it's not easy, but every repetition is a line of new code. Every conscious choice is a vote against the old self, and if you persist long enough, the program bends, not because you forced it, but because you've tuned into a different frequency of self. Change without reprogramming is just decoration. You switch jobs, cities, relationships, but the core patterns remain. Why? Because the subconscious doesn't care what you want. It only cares what's familiar. If pain is familiar, you'll unconsciously recreate it. If chaos is familiar, you'll sabotage peace. If being unseen kept you safe as a child, you'll shrink every time attention finds you. And that's the trap of surface change. New routines, new goals, same identity. You go to therapy but only talk. You meditate but avoid the real emotions. You write affirmations, but whisper them, because deep down, you don't believe a word. It's not that change is impossible, it's that you're asking the wrong part of yourself. The conscious mind is the goal setter, the subconscious mind is the gatekeeper. Until they agree, you'll live in conflict. You'll say, I want love, but choose partners who mirror your wounds. You'll say, I want success, but flinch when abundance knocks. And you'll call it self-sabotage, when really, it's just loyalty to the old code. To truly change, you must stop trying to convince your mind and start speaking its language. The subconscious doesn't speak English. It speaks image. It speaks feeling. It speaks rhythm and repetition. You can't negotiate with it using logic. You must saturate it with signals that bypass thinking and go straight to emotion. That's why visualization works, but only when it's vivid. Not just seeing the goal, but feeling it, smelling it, hearing the environment it lives in. You don't just picture success, you embody the you who already lives there. The subconscious doesn't care if it's real or imagined. It only records what you feed it repeatedly. Fear or faith, victory or failure. You are the broadcaster, and the signal becomes the structure. But consistency is everything. One empowered thought won't rewrite years of shame. You must drip feed the mind daily until the old belief can no longer hold. This is why your environment matters. Who you listen to, what you watch, what you say when you're alone. You are either reinforcing the old program or carving a new one. And here's the key. You don't force change. You become change. Not once, not loudly, but quietly, consistently, until the identity shifts from the inside out. You are not broken. You are programmed. And that means you can be reprogrammed. This isn't about positive thinking. It's about internal engineering, about becoming conscious of what was once automatic, and choosing, deliberately, what version of yourself gets to run the show. You are not your past. You are the architect of the pattern you choose to reinforce today. Even in silence, even in small rituals, you are rewriting code. A breath taken in awareness can interrupt decades of emotional reflex. A sentence repeated with emotion can lay new neural foundations. A refusal to repeat the same reaction can shatter inherited chains. But the power isn't in some distant technique. It's in this moment and what you do with it. Right now, you are either rehearsing the old self or rehearsing the future. And if you've made it this far, maybe it's because something in you is already waking up, not to escape the program, but to rewrite it from within. Because once you understand the language of the subconscious, you stop being a puppet and become the programmer. So the question now is not, what do you want? It's, What will you install next?